Prehistory, human expansion. At the end of the 20th century, the unification of scientific and esoteric knowledge, which had long been separate and antagonistic, occurred. This was initiated by certain human spirits who achieved transcendental contact with powers resembling an infinite mind. The infinite mind had long been foretold and anticipated by some, denied to exist by others. The time was right, and the information gained from the contact, the theoretical principles of which were completely unknown, could be used successfully in real life. The technology that had the most dramatic impact on human evolution was the permanent tunneling of space, the creation of so-called passages which enabled travel to alien worlds. Humanity's age-old dream of traveling to the stars became reality. A cosmogonical model of the universe with its planets, stars, and galaxies became unnecessary. Passages opened ways into zones whose formation was completely unrelated to the scientific concept of meta-galaxy. Building and activating the passage required enormous amounts of energy, and its destination point was impossible to predict. After activation, the passage became virtually autonomous, connecting two worlds. Humankind rushed headlong to the new worlds, exploring and colonizing, unthinking and heedless of any consequences. While the finest minds assimilated knowledge from the new worlds, others bent on conquest and rushed forth with vehicles of mass destruction. These explorers were uncaring of the philosophical aspects of contact with other civilizations. Secure in the knowledge of their superior intellect, humans expanded and conquered new worlds for 100 years. The entire human culture was significantly distorted under the impact of the rapidly growing chain of worlds. Without even completing the reconnaissance and development of one world, the explorers would start building a new passage to the next. Fortunately, only a minority of the new worlds became part of the chain, since the environment on many of them was extremely hostile to humans. Inevitably, the explorers disregarded and conceded and reaped their just rewards. First contact. The Cryptspo were entirely unfamiliar, nothing like the ugly little humanoids flying UFOs of 20th century imagery. The collective mind of a Cryptspo colony was totally unintelligible to the humans with their individual psyches. The colony's flawless mechanism closely resembled earthly nests of insects. The appearance of the explorers for the passage was initially overlooked by the colony, preoccupied as it was with its primary function of territorial control. Conversely, the advanced guard of the explorers immediately started slaying these strange beasts, as they had done in similar circumstances so many times before. The consequences of this slaughter were catastrophic. By the time people realized their technological inferiority to the new enemy, the Cryptspo had managed to enter the passage and had discovered the new unclaimed territories. Initially, they ignored the human settlers, although they did exterminate anyone foolish enough to get in their way. Disunited and defenseless, settlers managed to seal off major cities, leaving the rest of the world to the Cryptspo. Events progressed rapidly, and the passage to Earth was destroyed, leaving millions of the Softy, as they were later to be known, owing to their physical helplessness, isolated with the Cryptspo. Soon, the Cryptspo sprang a new surprise. The human body served extremely well as biomass for their larvae. The clash. The rapidly decreasing Softy population attempted a last counterstroke inspired by the infinite mind, genetic intrusion. This successfully drove the Cryptspo back, and, as the epidemic threatened to harm the queen of their colony, the passage to the Cryptspo homeworld, Cry, was blocked. The genetic intrusion unleashed during the clash between the Softy and the Cryptspo resulted in a combined genetic structure. In the following generations, biomolecular chaos erased all the original Softy and Cryptspo and formed the sinister bouillon of spawn. The majority of them had no chance of survival, but after a while, three basic varieties of the species, the bios, began to form from the diversity of mutant Losty. They were all characterized by a similar metabolism and psychobiological uniformity. The Cryptspo anatomy proved to be more advanced and better suited for the local habitat. The Softy complex nervous system proved superior in terms of versatility. The Losty inherited these characteristics from their ancestors. The four basic worlds of the chain are now inhabited by the three bios, whose diversity traces back to the functional division of a Cryptspo colony. The Cryptspo colony encountered by the pioneer Softy appeared to be a highly organized collective mind of insectoid organisms. However, all was not how it seemed. only one division of the Crispo manifested intelligence, and the Softy remained ignorant of their existence. It was the larvae, subterranean creatures, incapable of fast movement and relatively weak, who ran the colony. A complicated system of sense was used to control the other divisions of the colony. These worm-like bearers of mind were at the top of the colony hierarchy, with the Queen at their head. The Queen did not possess her own consciousness or identity. She merely integrated the mental primitives of the larvae. Human individualism was alien to her intrinsically collective mind. The territorial expansion of Crispo was highly organized and began with the invasion of the Queen's satellite, the larvae, into the area to be occupied. The larvae controlled the Crispo combat troops from deep underground by generating pheromones. The larvae consisted of a simple biological structure with a slow metabolism which resulted in lifespan lasting eons. Other creatures in the universe live according to their inherent nature. The Softy possessed a restlessness of mind and spirit that urged them to ceaselessly search for their raison d'etre. The Crispo were free from such high matters. Their leading strength lay in the integration of diverse beings by the Queen in a complicated but well-organized biological system. The Clash extracted these drives from both the Crispo and Softy. The few bios produced during the bouillon spawn capable of physical survival inherited a combination of racial instincts producing obscure urges which had lost any meaning. The Losty. During the Clash, while defending themselves from the ferocious Crispo, the last generation of the Softy built underground enclave cities, escaves, which became home for their descendants, the Losty. Although the Losty inherited their brains from the Softy, their subconscious integrated many weird psychic features of their Crispo ancestors, which emerged as somewhat bizarre behavior in the mutants. It is the influence of these instincts which has resulted in the bios existing in urban communities, the Bunches. They endlessly practice cult rituals, the only reason for existence they have. The Bunches have survived only by a strict adherence to the conservation laws that have developed over time. A Bunch cycle consists of several stages, each of which is closely connected to the physiology of one of the bios. The completion of each such function depends on the scent of a particular larva which serves as a catalyst. The complicated Crispo mechanism of controlling the colony through a system of sense evolved into a sophisticated cult, practiced by the Losty. It involved great reverence of and addiction to the sense of the now hidden and unfathomable larvae who still slowly crawl underground, disunited without their connection to the Queen, lost long ago when the passage to Cry was sealed. It is now 1,000 years after the Clash. The Losty have stabilized and formed aberrant tribes of inbred creatures. Living on the rubble of powerful and ancient civilizations, they practice endless cult cycles in an attempt to establish a rationale for their existence. The player belongs to the clan of Vangers, explorers, warriors, traders, and pirates, in a world that is only just beginning to wake up from the oblivion. The strange worlds of the Lost Chain emerge as time passes. They are full of mystery, weird inhabitants, and dangerous competitors. Eventually, it will be revealed that the clash between the Softy and the Crispo was not coincidental. The weird history of the bouillon spawn had been planned by the Infinite Mind specifically to develop a new type of warrior, the Vanger.